Hey guys! This video is going to be all about water, paper and chickens. I wanted to do a tutorial on painting feathers and bird skin, but my phone decided otherwise, and so I thought of doing a tips and tricks video about paper stretching and about how to keep your paper from buckling. I painted this colorful chicken without stretching the paper, but with the help of one of the tricks I learned. You can see for yourself if the paper stays flat, and I will show you how to prevent your paper from warping at the end of the video without stretching it. Plus, we'll share another 2 tips with you as well. So, first of all, if you still don't know what stretching is, it's preparing the paper before you paint so that it does not buckle or warp while you paint on it. There are many watercolor artists who soak their sheet of paper for about 15 to 20 minutes. The paper needs to be completely submerged in water though, and then staple it onto a board, letting it dry. This way the fibers of the paper stretch out evenly as it dries and the paper remains flat while you paint. The problem is that it takes a long time. You have to cut the parts of the paper that were stapled and you waste some paper. Maybe that's not a big issue, but still. And you need to leave the paper drying for at least 10 to 12 hours to make sure it is completely dry. So it takes a lot of time. There are 2 simple ways to keep the paper from warping that I know. So first is by painting on a glass surface. I don't mean by painting on the glass itself. What I mean is you put your paper onto a glass surface. I use a glass cutting board and I bought it at the local B&M store, but you can get them in any store that sells like stuff for kitchens. So you put the paper onto the cutting board, and also one good thing about cutting boards, they're thick and don't break easily, so that's a plus. And yeah, but on the other hand, there's the size issue, so they're fairly small, so that's that. So about how to keep your paper flat, you simply put your paper onto the surface and paint. The water will make sure that your paper adheres to the surface of the glass, preventing it from buckling. So it's kind of sticking onto the glass. And if it doesn't, if you don't drench your paper that much, I use a lot of water sometimes when I paint. So if you don't soak the paper that much, you can pass with a wet brush over the other side of the paper and put it on the glass, and that way you will make sure that it does stick. So the glass prevents it from buckling. That's one way. Another way is taping the paper to a board with masking tape, but not over the edges as usual, as you've seen me do in other paintings. That was the old way, but you will have to put the masking tape on the reverse side of the sheet of paper and stick it on the board that way. I will show you how in a minute. Let's see how my chicken painting is. You can see that the paper has buckled very, very slightly compared to how it does buckle when I just tape it without stretching. And I will show you here now is a photo of how it looks when it's dry. The paper is almost completely flat. And now I will show you how to do this. So, tutorial. First, you need to cut the masking tape so that it's the same length as the side of the sheet of paper that you want to put it onto. Then fold it twice, like so, and make it adhesive on both sides. So basically, when you fold one side in, the other side in, it's kind of a sticky on both sides. You make it sticky on both sides. Now stick it onto the paper, do the same with the other 3 sides, and then turn the paper over and stick it onto a board. There, this will prevent the paint from leaking under the paper and will keep the paper flat when you paint. It might buckle a bit if you use a lot of water, but as it dries, it will flatten itself out. Oh, by the way, here's another tip. If you cannot find a big enough board to tape your paper to, try getting a cheap frame. I had a large glass frame fall and the glass in the frame broke, but the back of the frame remained intact. That's what I'm using for my larger paintings. Cheap, handy, and large enough. And yep, that's it for today. Hope you found this tutorial useful. Like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Ciao!